Hello everyone, I'm Chine and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about my favorite fragrances in the month of June. This channel encourages sampling fragrances over blind buying, and you can get so many different samples in different sizes at Scentsplit.com. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next upload. Two fragrances that I've really been enjoying from the House of Bo are Espiritu and Bonbon. Espiritu is honestly severely underrated from their line. I feel like a lot of people stay away from Espiritu because they look at the notes and the notes might come off very heavy, very masculine, but that is not the case. Espiritu has notes of sage, leather, labdanum, tobacco, suede. So you can see how a lot of people would see those notes and be like, you know what, I'm not even going to try. But I promise you, this is such an airy, light, woody kind of fragrance. They literally use the lightest version of these notes to make Espiritu. When I think of a clean girl fragrance, I don't want to smell like paper, I don't want to smell like rice, I want to smell like Espiritu. This fragrance is almost like clean girl but make it boho. The addition of the aromatic and carob notes really take it to the next dimension and give it a little bit of that boho feel. Somebody on Fragrantica described this fragrance as a cool girl that you used to know that got married and moved to Mexico City and makes her own incense, and that is the vibe. I know House of Bo is solely focused on their perfumes, but they need to make an incense version of Espiritu. I think a lot of people would love that. It's honestly such a very unique and grounding fragrance that would be perfect as like a home fragrance as well. Espiritu is definitely on the lighter side. I feel like this fragrance lasts like 5 hours on your skin and on your clothes, but after the first 1 hour it sits very close to your skin. It's almost like a skin scent. I know I'm very particular about longevity, but I love the juice of Espiritu so much that I don't mind. I ordered a second one of the mini size. That's how much I love the juice. Next one is Bonbon by House of Bo. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but they changed the bottles. So before, the bottles used to be glass with like a gold plate, but now the entire bottle is like the gold plate and there is no more glass. I don't know how I feel. I think I prefer the older bottles, but one thing that I am so glad about is that I bought all my minis after they had made the change. Like, imagine having some glass ones and some of these. It would look so scattered on your vanity, and I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that. A lot of people call Bonbon a gourmand fragrance, and if you buy this fragrance expecting a true gourmand, like lickable, lick your skin off, slurpable kind of fragrance, you are going to be severely disappointed. Bonbon is more of a floral gourmand, and that floral is very green. It's a very green, very white floral. So if you're not into white florals, particularly Lily of the Valley, I do not think you are going to love this. I don't think that the gourmand notes like the marshmallow and caramel make up for the presence of that very green white floral. That is definitely something to keep in mind if you are looking to try Bonbon by House of Bo. I really enjoyed this fragrance, but the opening of this fragrance is a doozy. The opening of this fragrance is very green. It literally smells like first thing in the morning, you go out to your garden, there are still dewdrops on your plants, you walk over to your Lily of the Valley plants and then you cut their stems, so you get like a little bit of like the green sap. That is the vibe of this fragrance. So the opening of this fragrance might come off very green, very like astringent to some people, but I promise you, give it like 2 minutes to settle. Once it settles down, you start to get the caramel and the marshmallow and the cognac. The cognac in this fragrance isn't a very strong boozy note. Honestly, most people will not be able to tell that it's cognac that they're smelling. The cognac in this fragrance just adds a little bit of darkness to the DNA of the fragrance and adds a little bit of complexity. The caramel and the marshmallow share equal presence with the Lily of the Valley note, but this is not going to smell edible in any way. Those notes just add a sweetness to the fragrance, but there is nobody that is going to smell Bonbon and think, oh my god, this smells like candy, or this smells like food. It doesn't smell like candy, it doesn't smell like food. I sprayed this on my arm maybe like 3 hours ago and I can still smell it. Out of all the House of Bo fragrances, Bonbon is definitely the one with the longer lasting power. It lasts like 6, 7, 8 hours on your skin and on your clothes, and it definitely projects for like the first 3 hours. It's not like a beast mode performer. It doesn't fill up a room, but if somebody walks by you and you have Bonbon on, they are going to know that you have something on. Bonbon also has notes of ambergris, and I know ambergris is a tricky note for some people. It can come up very marine, very animalic, but I don't get any of that in Bonbon. This fragrance is such a girly fragrance. It's giving grown and feminine, not in a juvenile way. Another fragrance that I have been loving in the month of June is In Dreams and Fairy Tale by Source. Source released I think 5 different variations of this fragrance, but this one is the vanilla one, and I think this one is my favorite one. This has notes of baked meringue, vanilla bean absolute, sugar, and chamomile. Vanilla extract vanilla perfumes are all the rage right now. Escape Gourmand, Tihota, Guerlain's Vanille Planifolia, Fire at Will by Jovoy, but a lot of vanilla extract perfumes smell like Play-Doh to me. very quickly. The biggest offender being Escapade Gourmand. Like, I literally cannot stand that perfume. But this one is perfectly done. I don't know what Source did, but they were able to nail that vanilla, absolute vanilla extract vibe, but it smells nothing like Play-Doh, and it has a little bit of depth. I read you the notes. They don't seem very complex, like the sugar, chamomile, baked meringue. I don't even know what a meringue is, but the way that Source executed this vanilla perfume, perfection. Source is honestly such an incredible indie house. I have sampled a couple of fragrances from their brand. My other favorite ones are 2 AM in Lafayette and Match Made in Heaven. 2 AM in Lafayette is a coffee and like beignet fragrance. It's really good, and it also has like a sugared powder note. Match Made in Heaven is the fastest I have ever finished up a bottle of perfume. It is literally the perfect matcha perfume. It isn't herbal, it isn't earthy, it is packed with sugar, and it is delicious. It is honestly one of my signature scents for going to my Pilates class, and I get complimented on that perfume like clockwork. If I wear Match Made in Heaven, I know I'm going to get a compliment. This one I also get a lot of compliments with. I wear this to work often, and I'm always complimented by the ladies that pick me up in the Uber or by the people I meet like at the front desk. Compliment magnet, and it lasts and lasts. This fragrance honestly smells like a vanilla cloud in the best way, and if you are looking for a vanilla extract vanilla perfume, a pure vanilla perfume, grab In Dreams and Fairy Tale by Source. Do not waste your time with Escapade Gourmand and friends. A 100 ml bottle of this fragrance is $150. $150 to smell like the perfect vanilla absolute cloud. You cannot beat that price. You're not getting that price anywhere. This fragrance has comparable performance to those fragrances, and honestly, it is severely underrated. I know it just came out, but do yourself a favor and get your nose on In Dreams and Fairy Tales by Source. The Torino line by Xerjoff is very well loved on social media, on YouTube channels. Everybody talks about them, especially Torino 21. But you guys are sleeping on Torino 22. I haven't tried the 24 one. I know that one has mango, but I've tried 21, 22, and 23, and 22 is my absolute favorite. It's not even close. 21 kind of smells like a mojito, like okay, like whatever. This one smells so cool, girl. So effortless. It is a matte eucalyptus kind of fragrance. It's too good. When the vibe is put together, effortless, chic, this is the fragrance I go for. I remember one time I had this fragrance on and I was going shopping at Neiman Marcus. So there's this lady behind me. I opened the door and I held the door for her. She walked by me and she comes back and she's like, "What do you have on? You smell so chic and divine." And I was like, "Oh, I can actually show you because we're at Neiman Marcus." So I walked her to the Xerjoff counter and I was like, "Oh, this is the fragrance," and I spritzed a little bit on her. And she was like, "Wow, like this smells so good." Tell me why this lady bought this perfume like right there in front of me. I was shocked. I was like, okay, come on, influencer. Yeah. Xerjoff Torino 22, immaculate. This is an aromatic woody fragrance. It has notes of eucalyptus, saffron, bergamot. Even though it has a saffron note, I feel like it adds that airiness to the fragrance and helps with the longevity, but it doesn't smell like Baccarat. One thing I am fed up with is going off Fragrantica, and every fragrance with a prominent saffron note, people are in the comments saying it smells like Baccarat. It doesn't smell like Baccarat. This doesn't smell like Baccarat. It doesn't have that cotton candy saffron kind of vibe. Absolutely not. It only smells like Baccarat in the sense that it's like that airy saffron kind of vibe. The eucalyptus and mate and sage in this fragrance add like an aromatic twist to the fragrance. Aromatics are typically reserved for like masculine fragrances. This does not smell masculine. This smells distinctively unisex. If anything, it's a little bit sweet and it's definitely very wearable for women. I wear this all the time. Like, look at my dent. I clearly put this to use, and it's crazy because I got this perfume in October. So I have used this much of the perfume, about half a bottle, in under a year. That's how much I love this. This is my grab and go fragrance. When I don't want to think, I just want to put on perfume and head out the door, I grab Torino 22. It also has notes of mate, sage, guaiac, and musk. The musk in this fragrance isn't a very like strong, burning your nose hairs kind of musk. It's a very well done musk. The mate in this fragrance, I think, is what adds that sweetness. Mate is a type of tea, but this doesn't smell very herbal or like earthy or like tea-like. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of tea fragrances because I don't want to smell earthy. I don't want to smell like grass. This does not smell like grass. From the Torino line, Torino 22 is severely underrated. This is beast mode, insane projection, fill up a room, and I cannot think of one instance where wearing this perfume perfume would be considered inappropriate. It is a perfect signature scent for that reason. You see how my samples are essentially empty? These are my second set of samples of these fragrances, but trust that I have my full-size bottles on the way to me. In June, I got to discover the house of Zerno Gilly. On social media, especially on TikTok, everybody says good things about this brand. But when I finally got to try the fragrances, I understood why. These fragrances are so easy to love. They are so well done. Unique creations, very thought out, but also very likable. And I can see why people like them. There's no fragrance that I smelled from this line. I think they have 6 fragrances that I thought, I don't really like that. I liked all of them, but of course I have my favorites. At its core, House is a saffron, raspberry, and oud fragrance. I don't know why I haven't seen other people pair raspberry with oud, but it is such an intoxicating combination. I forgot to mention this, but Zerno Gilly is actually a DJ, and his fragrances are inspired by different genres of music. And the combination of raspberry, saffron, and oud truly adds to that lively, like unts vibe of house music. It's able to be sweet, but also has that depth and like darkness from the oud. This also has notes of heliotrope, tonka bean, sandalwood, jasmine, and cedarwood. Those other notes I just mentioned are very subtle and all contribute to like the harmony of the fragrance. But the key things you are going to smell in this fragrance are definitely the raspberry, oud, and like a little bit of the tonka. The tonka adds that sweetness to the fragrance and it keeps it grounded. Like, this is just so good. If you have not tried anything from Zerno Gilly, you need to get your nose on these fragrances. I got my samples from Ministry of Scent. Ministry of Scent sells them for $5 a pop, and I think each one is 1.5 ml. Longevity is obviously very important to me, so when I went to try these fragrances, I really liked House. Smell-wise, House I think is my favorite one, but I wasn't really sold on the longevity, so I got a different one. But I have been trying House for the last couple of weeks, so one day I put on this fragrance at 8:30 a.m. I went to work. At the end of the workday, I get into my Uber at 6 p.m. and the first thing the lady says to me is, "Oh my god, you smell so good right now." And I'm thinking to myself, surely it cannot be the perfume I put on at 8:30 a.m. It is 6 p.m. sis. So I asked her like, what are you smelling? And she's like, it smells kind of sweet, a little bit like raspberry, but there's some darkness in the background. I was like, I know, it's House. You're smelling House. She was so enamored by this fragrance, she made me like type it into her phone. Like, I took her to the Zerno Gilly website. That's how much she liked this fragrance. And I forgot to mention, these fragrances are extract, so they are 30% oil concentration. Also, if you buy a full-size bottle is only 30 ml and it costs, I think, $125. So I know the price, the size might be like, I'm not really sure. But based on the experience that I've had with the longevity of these fragrances, I think it's very worth it. Especially because a little bit goes a long way. This lady complimented me on a day that I was testing out this fragrance. I didn't spray it all over my clothes. I literally had 2 sprays on my wrist. So if she could smell me hours later based off of 2 sprays on my wrist, you will be okay with a 30 ml full-size bottle. I promise, you will be fine. Disco is a tea fragrance, but done in a very unique way. Personally, I have always avoided tea fragrances because a lot of the popular ones smell very earthy, very green, like grass. I have no interest in smelling like that. This is a tea fragrance complemented with amber, lavender, tobacco, I think incense. It doesn't smell like a traditional tea fragrance. This is a tea fragrance, but unlike anything you have ever smelled before. It has notes of tea, amber, grapefruit, tobacco, vanilla, lavender, cardamom, myrrh, patchouli, and jasmine. This is a melting pot of notes, but it just comes together in the most perfect way. I love how this fragrance is done. Like, looking at the notes, I'd be like, I'm not really sure, but it is so perfectly done. Like, he knew what he was doing when he made this masterpiece. The amber and the myrrh are able to add this warmth and ground the fragrance, but the tea is sweetened up with some fruity facets from the grapefruit and the bergamot. Don't be scared of the tobacco, don't be scared of the lavender, don't be scared of the patchouli. The patchouli in here isn't a very earthy, dirty patchouli. It's a little bit earthy, but nothing too crazy. Combined with the myrrh, you honestly wouldn't know that it's there. The tobacco used here is a very dry tobacco, and it's also very light. The lavender isn't doing too much, the tobacco isn't doing too much, the patchouli isn't doing too much. These notes all come together to add this intrigue and mystery in the base of the fragrance. Honestly, if you're someone like me that struggles with tea fragrances, you don't want to smell like grass, I think this is definitely one that is worth getting your nose on. The citrus notes here, the grapefruit, the bergamot, they don't smell like cleaning products. And honestly, it's super unique. I don't think I've ever smelled anything like this before. And finally, Blanche Bête. Blanche Bête is a fragrance that I waited way too long to try. I love how my juice is so red and dark, like it makes me so happy. Honestly, I haven't really worn this fragrance a lot, but I started wearing it again in the month of June. And even though this fragrance is great in the winter, this thing shines in the summer. In the summer, the throw on this fragrance is even more ridiculous. Okay, I can't really say if it's the summer or because my juice is darker, but I wore this for the first time in like 2 months and I was like, something smells good. It was me. It was me. I smelled good. This has insane throw. Insane throw. I know a lot of people use the word ethereal, like angelic, to describe this. And it is. I don't know. Someone said it's like cherub angels jumping on a vanilla cloud. Yes, that is exactly what this smells like. It is powdery. It's a little bit creamy. It's not milky. It doesn't smell like you spilled milk on yourself, but it just has this creaminess that I think adds this allure to the fragrance. It also has a light dusting of cacao that I think adds some depth to the fragrance and stops it from just being this milky, creamy fragrance. It adds a little bit of darkness to the fragrance. Everything in this fragrance is so perfectly done. The composition, the longevity, the performance, the way it radiates off your skin. When people think about long-lasting fragrances, they often focus on longevity. They want a fragrance that lasts a long time. But if you want compliments, the secret is sillage. And Blanche Bête is a fragrance that has incredible sillage. And now it's on the discounters. I didn't pay retail for mine. I got mine for I think 160 off Fragrance Net. And this is the big bottle compared to like 250 on retail. So that's a wrap on my June favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next upload.